Welcome back to the Authenticity Calling podcast. I am your host, Relitsa Spesova, and today we have a super special guest, one of my very good friends from the Institute for Coaching Mastery, and an amazing coach, a mentor, a fellow, a deep, 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 beautiful friend, super activator of all of the juicy things. And the term that I remember most from you is potentiality. So I just want to hand it over to you, Jules. I love you. I'm so happy you're here. And please share with us what is going on in your world. And feel free to introduce yourself with your sort of new revamped what's going on in your world.
Thank you, Ralitza. I'm so happy to be here with you. And thank you for reflecting back and what you remember from our conversations. Yes, I'm so happy to be here with you. And what's happening? Well, lots of different things are happening. So I'm growing. And yes, I am working with potentiality always and growing so that I'm a match to that what is possible and potential. So just to, yes, a little bit about myself. So my specialties is somatics, nervous system, and spirituality. So that's three umbrellas, I guess, that I work under and bring into my coaching. And my energetic frequency is the spirit of love, because that's what been my journey. And because I've also been a vessel for channeling the message of love through the poems that I'm also publishing. And my book is coming next month. Yay!
Oh, that's so exciting. Tell us more about the book. What's the title? Where can
Yeah.
people find it?
So yes, the book is called Love, but it stands for Lasting Opening of Vital Energy. So yes, if we just kind of sit here for a moment and pause, that's what came to me actually in 2013.
Mm.
And back then I was going through my, another human experience. And somehow intuitively, I just started to write like love letters to myself. And
Mm.
I always started them with, Dear Jules, I love you because, and I would be crying and all the other things were coming. So, and I wasn't really like on the spiritual journey per se back then and didn't really read the books. It was just like an intuitive calling in a way.
Mhm.
And back then, I am just kind of like my mind works in abbreviations. And that's when it came to me then in 2013. So when I was reviewing my journal, I was like, that's it. That's the name of the book.
Wow.
That's what it is, lasting opening of vital energy. And essentially, the premise of the book is to dissolve the illusion of not enough.
Mm.
So, because that's what it's all about, it's an illusion, but most of us still have that human experience. And we also buy into that as truth that I am not enough as I am.
Mhm.
But spiritually speaking, I believe that we're all here to reconnect back to love because that's who we are. It's just love is a homecoming, and we're always home away from home. But from what I learned from science and nervous system, when our nervous system is stuck in that survival response,
Mhm.
it's not resonating love, and we're not the match to that resonance. And that's the spiritual law of resonance. So we're always resonating certain energy. And the energy of survival is needed, obviously, for a human experience. There is nothing wrong with it. But when we get stuck in one of those survival points in our journey, that's when we just know limitation and vibrate limitation.
Mhm.
But the nervous system now, also from a new understanding of the nervous system, also is wired for love, connection, and safety.
That's right.
But when you don't know that, you don't feel that in the body, you don't feel safe with those frequencies,
Mhm.
it's that work. So the
Mhm.
work of rewiring, recalibrating, and when your body starts feeling safe with those higher frequency, because you really need to have that safety to hold the higher frequency. because it's
Mhm.
also scary when you're used to like, well, I'm not good enough. I know what to do, right? And
Right.
then suddenly like, oh, I'm complete as I am. Oh, that's like completely uncertain, unfamiliar, scared.
Yes.
So that's why we always titrate the experience and expand the safety so that we go back to who we really are, because that's who we are. We're wholeness.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. So tell me what resonated for you from my little spill here.
Absolutely. No, thank you for sharing all of that. I think it's so relevant, especially in the time that we're in right now. I mean, it's always sort of fear mongering has always been there in our media, but I think especially now there's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of interference and a lot of it's almost like distortion through technology and AI. We were just talking about this before we went live, and really, what can you trust as truth anymore is becoming a big question mark for people. And I think without actually having that relationship with ourselves, where we do slow down, where we do recalibrate our nervous system, for some people, for the very first time in their lives they
Mhm.
will feel into their own physical body as a resonance, as their own resonance. And the only way to do that is to do the work that you're talking about, is to actually slow down, to get out of that fight or flight mode, to really calm down into our bodies, to create that stillness. And it's such a big topic of, especially this week. I just this morning saw a post about the Schumann resonance and how it's actually come from this like super heightened constant to this stillness. And they even mentioned like a lot of people are going to feel extremely uncomfortable in this stillness because we are not accustomed to this level of peace and
Yes.
stillness and that pause. And so it'll be, first of all, extremely important for all of us to get on and do this work for ourselves, to be able to hold space for others as we are all coming down, and to really prepare for what's to come. And when I say prepare for what's to come, it is actually to resonate at that frequency of truth and of peace. Because if we continue to resonate at that frequency of fear, right, when shit hits the fan and when we do need to respond to what's happening in our world, we don't want to be responding from this place of like scarcity and survival and super hyper vigilance. We really want to be able to bring ourselves down and say, okay, what is the long-term plan? We've already prepared. Let's just hit go on the long-term plan. And for those who haven't prepared, to really take a step back and prepare from that space of unconditional love and trust and faith and knowing that we've got this, rather than this super heightened sense of, it's me against the world, because that's not actually going to support survival. It is very community based. And in community, it's really that resonance of unconditional love and holding space for each other. And it's not about competition, it's about co creation. And there's just so many benefits to doing this work, especially in the time that we're in. So I just really wanted to share that is what really came through very strong. And yeah, just this deep appreciation that you're so clear on your calling, and very refined to be able to put this work out and this book and just everything that's calling us back to that truth is just
Mhm.
so honorable, so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad that you reflected on stillness and peace, and I can elaborate on that.
Yeah.
This is oh, I don't know if you can see it, but that's
Oh,
kind of like
beautiful.
but I can send it. I send you a picture in the Amazon link, so I'd love for you to share with your audience.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I think a few things based on what you said. Well, first of all, just like understanding your inner wiring is so important, and that's been really a missing link for me, because like, yes, I love to understand the science. I also like believe in energy and all that ooh stuff, right? But when I really understood the purpose and the intention for the nervous system, because first of all, the nervous system is really working for our survival. It's actually in service for our survival.
So,
However, a healthy nervous system that knows safety and connection, all of that, is the system that goes back and forth and always finds the way home. And home is love, connection, safety, potential, possibility, all of that,
mm,
which, yes, that's a home. However, in our human experience and also childhood, basically, that's where lots of different things were embedded for us. So we get stuck in one of the survival systems. So going back and forth through those.
mm,
And that's where we don't know home. And it's really unconscious and it's in our body. That's why the body never lies, like you're talking about the truth. So
mhm.
the body never lies, because I'm sure you've experienced in your audience as well, those moments when you're like having a body experience and you're shaking and whatever, and the mind is like, no, you're fine. Everything is fine. Look at this. Everything is fine. It's like when mind and body are not connected.
Yeah.
So that's how it is, because from the nervous system perspective and the vagus nerve, most of the fibers of that nerve are afferent, which means they're sensory nerves. So that's why 80% of information comes from the body. So if my heart starts fluttering a little bit, if my hands start sweating, all of that sends information to the brain, and the nervous system interprets, ooh, okay, we're in danger. So we're going into our what we know best, which is shut down or fight and flight. And when we get stuck there, and also most of us live in the mind and we're disconnected with our body, we just know what's familiar. Like for me, so
Mhm.
I am an ambitious chaser of my dreams, and I was constantly in that urgency. I have to do it, I have to fix it, but only because my whole body was wired in that sympathetic overdrive.
Mm.
That's why I was hooked to look for the next problem. I was hooked to create the next problem, not consciously. It's all of that subconscious comes
Yeah.
up. So that's why, like, if I have a wonderful client and they give me money and we have great time, so my body goes in danger mode because I'm not used to, like, I have to earn it, I have to
Mhm.
fix
Work
it.
hard and yes, yeah.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
this is like the unconscious. That's why I wasn't feeling comfortable. Or if something like happens easy, I was set, like, again, the nervous system wise, I wasn't conscious until I became aware, and I started rewiring and also working what's called titration. So that's why a lot of times in the spiritual world, you see there, well, heal it and feel it until you heal it. And people just like, yeah, give it to me, but that actually not healing. So because the nervous system does in titration. So you want to go small, gentle, create a lot of safety
Mhm.
so that the nervous system, the body actually purge the survival energy,
Mhm.
purged all that energetic attachment. And then the body just rewires. And then suddenly it's like, oh, that feels actually good. And
Mhm.
here is mind now and the body are connected. That's why, like right now, I rarely go into the mind and like, because I used to do a lot of that. It requires a lot of work to change thoughts and all of that. And they come back again because you're fighting against what's there. And this is where the love happens. And that's what I want to make sure that I want to make this point across. Fear is not bad.
Mm.
Fear is real.
Mhm.
And our job is to be with the fear
Mhm.
and with the nervous system that is scared.
Mhm.
And love is a choice. But when you're in fear and you've been stuck in that survival, you actually, like body wise, you're not even exercising that choice because there is physiological and biological things happen and hormonal things happen in our body. Because when I'm in fight and flight, my eyes actually get narrow. My hearing actually adjusts to like hearing the predator sounds. So everything in the body adjusts, and I actually feel like narrow. That's why my language becomes like black and white, because my whole system goes in just like this preservation mode.
Mm-hmm.
But physiologically, in that state, when you're paying attention to your body and like so tight and everything like feels right scary, um, it's not the moment for me to like open up. Oh, there is love.
Right.
It's just not gonna work, because like I remember in those moments, like when I used to be in that field, like I listened to the messages of others. Oh, there is this abundance world and da 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 da. There is potentiality, and I'm like, aha, it's not for me.
Okay, bullshit. Yeah.
Because my body was not wired. So for
Yes.
me, this is what was true, because that my body experienced that for 50 years, right? But when I started rewiring, and now I have a place in my body and I am safe, and it's still like there is growth there. That abundance, when I came home, home is abundance, safety, connection, love. That's it, joy, potentiality. So, and when I experienced that in my body, also created a lot of safety and purged a lot of that survival energy. Now, yes, when I get scared, I'm working with the body at the body level, which essentially I'm speaking the body language, because mind speaks different language than the body. Mind
Mm-hmm.
gives us words and also commands. The body speaks through sensations, emotions, posture, images.
Mm-hmm.
When I meet myself with love and compassion, that's where it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm creating the spectrum of all experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's why fear is real. Love is a choice. That's why now, like I said, I just go into the body and I'm attuning to what is there, to whatever emotion that comes up or sensation. And that's what I believe a missing link for many women as well. We can go there. So when I tune to the body and just ride the whatever is there. And then when I'm not in resistance, which is again, I'm in love, I'm accepting what is, this is what I
Yes.
feel. I'm
Yes.
allowed to feel that. I'm
Yes.
giving myself permission.
Yes.
And when it goes just away, right? The
Yeah.
next wave comes.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're not in resistance. The next wave is just love. And now
Yes.
when my body is like, now my eyes are dilated, my ears adjusted, my voice changed.
Yes.
Even like before I knew about nervous system, I was always noticing for my clients, like we do Voxa messages and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always notice like, her voice sounds so different. And I would
Yes.
always tell them like, okay, before you listen to what I'm going to say, I want you to go back and listen to your message. And can you tell me how you describe your voice there? And they would always say like, it feels so empowering. Like, yeah, can you remember this voice? And that's exactly it, because it is physiology, biology, the electricity, like the nervous
Mm-hmm.
system essentially
Mm-hmm.
is electrical impulses.
That's right.
All of that changes at the body level. That's why if we're fighting, we're only creating more resistance.
Mm.
We're only pushing ourselves away from what's already there, which is love,
Mm-hmm.
safety, connection, possibility, and all of that, which allows us to come back to that wholeness and just honor, like, okay, this is what I feel. I don't
Yeah.
need to pretend I am like Miss Independent and I'm strong
That's
and
right.
blah, blah, blah. Like
The fake it
I
to
did all
make
of
it.
those.
Yes. Yes.
So, and it only pushed me away from love. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop here and see what's coming up for you and where we want to go from here.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you for sharing because I think that's one of the most important things is to be able to actually know that on the other side, everyone wants safety and security, right? In order to go into the unknown, it's almost like, okay, but if I go into the unknown, then what, right? That's the hardest thing I think from going from being numb, because I think a lot of us either by
Mhm.
choice through drugs, alcohol, whatever, sex, whatever it is, obsession
Yeah.
or addiction that we have to numb ourselves from feeling.
Mhm.
It's so beautiful what you shared because I think most people don't share this level of safety of what's on the other side of that. And on the
Mhm.
other side is that choice of love. And that's such a beautiful invitation. And it creates so much of that potentiality again. And I just wanted to reflect how powerful you are, by the way, and your resonance and your energy as you were describing that feeling of being stuck in that fear mode. I could physically feel it in my body. Your voice carries such a resonance and
Mhm.
so such a power that your words are so penetrable, like it penetrates through everything. And so we all have that potential to get to a place of our own alignment so that we can speak from that place of stillness, from that place where we choose unconditional love. And it really takes this emotional mastery. So that was what was really coming up for me, is that it's such a beautiful place that we can get to if we choose to, instead of maintaining the resistance. I call it maintaining the resistance because I became aware of this moment, and it was again in the bathtub where a lot of my downloads come. But it was this moment of like, okay, maintaining the resistance is taking so much more of my energy than just holding space for the things that are trying to get my attention, but I'm avoiding. And I keep staying busy and I keep working hard. And I keep, like going to those old habits and patterns and ways of being in the old, in the smallness of what, looks like safety, which it's really not. It's just our old way of doing things. And I say old way, meaning if you're capturing the moment right now of awareness, oh my God, that's me. This is the old version of you. And I want you to accept that if you're listening right now, that this is the old version of you because now you have an awareness of it. Now you can say, with this awareness, I am choosing to do things differently from right this moment, right now, as you're listening. That was the old version of you. And the future version of you holds presence and stillness and space for that emotional mastery, which it really just start with a moment. One time that you're willing to feel rather than go into your head, into that overthinking space, right? Into solutions right away. We want to go from problem to solution, but there's a beautiful space in between where we get to slow down and we really get to experience it all. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I would love to hand it back to you because I have a feeling you have a lot to share there.
I have goosebumps as you're talking. So yes, that space in between is so amazing. And I always like visualize the two circles, but instead of being separate, one is here, one is here, they're actually getting connecting and creating that intersection. And this is where I always envision like that's a growth, that's a connection back to home. And
Mhm.
then we basically, our whole life consists of those intersected experiences, and that becomes infinite. So that's why the circle itself, it's a very healing shape. It's a very like deep and profound. So that's why I always kind of like imagine, okay, so this is just my growth. This is my connection to the source that I am, because I am the source. And like I basically guide people through the stages of love that I also learned from coach Alisa. And that is where we all start. I need love.
Mhm.
And then I choose love. And that's kind of like what you were talking about. In order for us to create that space, that also comes from the body level. We want to start rising up while working with it, with that childhood experience, essentially, like that I need love, which is basically our roots and also a sacral chakra. So when we carry all of those childhood experiences and we're still in the need for love, but now it looks like adult, like we are ambitious women, we're constantly like accomplishing, achieving, and doing it. And so that we feel love, but really it's still that child who did not receive. And now I'm 15, I'm still doing it, right? But again, when it becomes unconscious and it's just part of your experience, you're just there. But when you start waking up and working with it, and then start choosing, so like choosing to look at everything and everyone through the prism of love, that's that creating that space like you were talking about. Well, what if I assume that this person is doing his best.
Mhm.
And now it opens me up to like experience this differently. Or,
Mhm.
okay, this person does something and that triggers me. Well, now I'm looking at it like, ooh, there is something on the way to my freedom. And then on
Mhm.
my way to love and accept myself unconditionally, there's something there. I'm like, okay, well, thank you. Now I have to sit with that and ride the wave and notice what is it that was reflected back to me through this experience.
Uh-huh.
Now, again, I'm choosing love, which essentially I'm exercising my a gift. Like we all have that gift, we have access to that gift, like you said, co-creation.
Yes.
Because what is co-creation? It's
Mhm.
exercising my power of choice.
Mhm.
And of course now I am more able to exercise that than before,
Mhm.
because when
Mhm.
you're in a state of survival, you're not necessarily thinking like, what would I choose?
That's right.
Your body is communicating signals nonstop, like,
Yeah.
no, we have an urgency. We have to do it now. We have to fix it now, right? So that's why when again you work the body and the body start a little bit settling,
Mhm.
then again your hormones, like essentially you're creating cohesive experience between your mind, heart, and your belly.
Yes.
Now you start looking at things like through that choice. And when we have a choice and also our nervous system feels we have a choice, that's a different nervous system. Like, why
Absolutely.
are we going into that numbness and shut down? Because the nervous system, like subconsciously, your body is done fighting and flighting. Essentially, it does not see there is another choice. We
Mhm.
go into that shutdown and freeze. However, in our life, it becomes functional freeze. Like that's where I spend most of our time,
Mhm.
most of my time
Mhm.
in a functional freeze. Like my body was frozen, but I had to show up as high functioning
That's
adult.
right. That's right. Yeah.
So,
Total
yeah,
self-rejection.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And basically after that, so the choice where that communication starts to happen and you clear up the roots. And when you clear up the roots, now you're standing on the fertile ground and have your own roots to rely on.
Mhm.
And that's what brings you to your power, the solar plexus, that choice. And then from there, there is a heart. So, which is there to really hold space and the magnetic frequency for love that you are, which is the third stage of love. I am love. Because
Mhm.
I am, it's a state of consciousness. And essentially, the stages of love is your state of consciousness. So, and when you start embodying that I am that, which is love,
Mhm.
then that is it. Like, I'm not loved, I'm not loving, I am that, which is
Yes.
love, which you become that what is already everywhere in the universe. And that's the last stage of love, which is all is love.
Yes.
So now I'm becoming that law of resonance, energetic resonance of love that is reflected back to me. So, like I remember even before, so when I was in a state of survival, I would always feel and see and look and find something that essentially resonates that state of survival. Now, sometimes I go on my walks and we live in a nice neighborhood and everything, and I just see so much beauty everywhere. Like it feels sometimes so overwhelming that I cry with joy and like happiness. I'm like, wow. It's like I've never thought I lived in this beautiful world because again, I wasn't the match and resonance of that.
That's
And
right.
sometimes I just pause there and look at the beautiful sky and these green trees. And now it's summertime, there's flowers everywhere. And we live in this golf course. It's so well taken care of. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Yes.
And this is why I am.
Yes.
This is amazing. But
Yes.
if before, like when I was doing my rewiring, I would go into a little bit of an anxiety and a panic. It's like that's me. Like, what am I supposed to do to prove this, right?
How can I
So
prove
yeah,
to
I had to
myself that I'm
again,
worthy to receive all of
yeah,
this beauty? That's
yeah, because it's a
different.
stages, yeah. So and you're like constantly pendulating because you're titrating the experience until the body is fully at that level of receiving. Because receiving
Mhm.
is huge. Um, a huge contributor of the nervous system. So that's why, like, if we are wanting something and it's not happening, so, and you're doing everything you know,
Yeah,
it's most likely because your nervous system does not feel on that subconscious level safe to receive.
that's right.
So yeah, that's why like titrating the experience and finally like at this level where I am.
Yeah.
So I am fine, but you and I, and also our audience here, I'm sure we are expanders.
Mhm.
We continue expanding, and that's where there is gonna be like next level of initiation that shows to us. So that's why, like going back to what you said, even like before choice, where we start is awareness.
Yes.
That's also nervous system works on three components, which is context, choice, and creation. So in
Mm.
the context is where like awareness happens.
Hmm.
So when we start understanding and connecting to the body, we become aware, like what my body is experiencing right now. Is it actually experiencing based on what's happening today on May 2026, 2025? Or something got triggered within me and my body is actually responding, reacting, not responding, reacting at a subconscious
Reacting.
level to something that, triggered me 15,000 years ago,
That's
right?
right.
So when we start becoming aware of those body language, um, we start coming to the present moment, and that's the point of the nervous system. Like nervous system that is healthy, it can come back in the present moment.
Hmm.
So, and when we're in the present moment, now we're safe. Like, okay, I'm acknowledging that, I'm noticing that.
Hmm.
And when I actually start noticing, oh, this is not what my husband is actually talking about. Like, he did not
Hmm.
say anything about what I went to and
That's right.
reacted to and thought about.
That's right.
And then when I come down my body and was able to see, like, he's not like accusing me anything. I did all of it on my own because
That's right.
my mom was talking to me right now, right? And that's the awareness. And now I'm like, ah, what do I choose?
Yes.
Oh, now I'm gonna choose to maybe just to speak up and say I need a minute out because I'm in a like different emotional state to
Mm.
continue our conversation. This is us to coming back to our power and setting up boundaries and communicating with love. Like,
Mhm.
okay, can I have 5 minutes out
Mhm.
to come
Yes,
down
it's so
low here?
important.
Not about you, it's about me, and then come
Yes.
back and discuss that, right? Or whatever choice you need to make.
Mhm.
And then from that, you create. Like when you have a choice, you obviously create. Like what I want to create,
Mhm.
what experience do I want to create?
Mhm. Mhm. I
So
love
that's
this.
my,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just, if you don't mind, I just want to take it a
Yeah.
step back and just to reflect how, grounding into our nervous system actually gives us that personal responsibility. I talk about personal responsibility all the time because it is our decision to make that choice to say, wait a second, I am no longer going to move from this state of hypervigilance and being triggered and reactive and then projecting my insecurities or my past decisions, based on that survival mode onto the people in my life or onto the future of my life, truly. Instead, I'm going to slow it down. I am going to take that personal responsibility. And I'm going to see that, wait, the energy that I'm reacting from right now is not the energy I want my life to be. And it
Mhm.
really does take that conscious decision. And again, as you said, it starts with awareness. But what we do with that awareness is so pivotal and important because a lot of people will have that awareness. They'll allow that awareness to sit for a moment and then they'll continue going along their lives with that state of low frequency. And it's not low or high if you don't know the difference. But if you have a sudden awareness that, wait a second, everything in my life is almost in this state of like reactiveness, just survival, just, and we have moments where, oh, we get a little bit of a high and then we go back down to that baseline. There is a
Mhm.
choice that we actually have to go from that baseline to actually elevate our frequency, to elevate where we stand in the world and how we are able to, as you said, receive the world. And that's such a, I talk all the time about masculine and feminine energies, and that masculine is a constant do that you were talking about. And feminine is that ability to be, the ability to receive, the
Mhm.
ability to become that vessel of stillness, to actually be able to hold so much more in our field.
Mhm.
And it starts with us. It starts with that connection, the mind, heart, and the gut, right? When you're resonating in that alignment,
Yeah.
life can become so much juicier, because now suddenly you're able to receive the higher frequencies that are that unconditional love, which everything resonates with actually. But because we are so closed up in our survival and we are resonating at such a low energy, we are unable to connect with the unconditional love of everything around us. And so I
Yeah.
just really want to highlight how much that is a personal choice and how important it is for us to make that choice. So I mean, you just shared so much beauty, so much wisdom, so much power in this space of our energy, our emotions, our physical body, our connection with ourselves. There's just so much juiciness there. If somebody was listening right now and they really wanted to take that next step, first of all, what's one pearl that you can give that really people, as they're listening to this and they're finding themselves in this now probably kind of identity crisis in a way, how can they actually ground and bring themselves back to center? And then also, how can they find you?
Thank you for this wonderful question. So what they can do, well, if we're talking about my typical client, which is an ambitious woman who is constantly in action and doing, and she's brilliant. And on the outside, she looks very successful and accomplished and well put together, in control. But on the inside, she's struggling. She's feeling unfulfilled, lacking joy, and just kind of asking a question like, yeah, is this it? So if she is the one, I would say that in the beginning, it's going to be challenging for her to just go into the body. So what I have found works in that beginning moment is just to start, kind of pause, and then start looking around with the eyes, just around and slowing down, just kind of noticing the quality of the movement. Notice if you're like still looking fast, and then see if you can slow down and just begin to collect information. What are your eyes are seeing?
Mm.
And this is how you can actually see what nervous system people are in. Like I kind of do that test sometimes, especially when I do like group programs and stuff. So people who are stuck in that survival, fight and flight, they suddenly start seeing like, oh my God, there is so much dust there, and there's books everywhere. Like this office is a mess, and all of that. So that tells me that again, what their eyes are seeing, what's their body communicating with it being. It's like constant, like I need to fix it.
Uh-huh.
So that's a feedback. So like that's awareness. That's and why I'm using eyes, because eyes are connected to the vagus nerve, and eyes are constantly surveilling for danger and all of that. That's why when we start slowing down the eyes, and you might even start noticing, like if you're really present and doing it, you start noticing like the breaths come in, like sighing out. It's like that's the purging of the body. That's what we're looking for, that the nervous system is shifting.
Mm.
And then the people who are kind of like stuck in the shutdown, so they usually say like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I see. I don't know. I just see everything and like nothing, something like
Mm,
that.
mm,
So like
mhm,
that's also like a feedback. I'm like, okay, well, that's not right. That's not wrong. It's just where your nervous system is. But because our language reflects again what the body feels. So because that's how it is, right? But also when we do that and slowing down the eyes and all, again, like the purging happens. So like I usually guide people, or like I notice if I work one-on-one, it's like, well, I just noticed that your shoulders drop down. Did you notice that? And they're like, oh yeah, feels kind of lighter. Okay. So then there's like other eye techniques, but eyes, because they're always with you and you can always use them anytime. Even just like when I'm driving and if I feel kind of like a little anxious or like in that urgency, like, oh my God, I have no time
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? So I just like, oh, notice that. And I just drive and I start looking around. I mean, looking on the road too, and just see the nature everywhere. And that brings me again, because like we live in such a technological world, which is not a natural environment. Like we actually don't live in a natural environment. So
That's
that's why no wonder our body is always in danger, especially if you're like stuck in a cubicle, you don't go into the nature, you don't really do anything else, and you're not blah, 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 right? So our body is actually experiencing danger like for a reason. Like
yes.
it's really not a natural environment.
Hmm.
So that's why bringing the eyes and just finding like a beautiful picture, like that's how sometimes I work with the clients. Like, okay, you see the picture, great. What do you see in the picture? Like, do you like it? What colors do you see? And then again, it's through images, because the body speaks through images. And now when the body went there in the picture and then the memory came up, and now they feel like, oh, I feel joy, I feel this, I feel that. And I'm like, okay, did you notice that nothing changed? Your husband's still the same. You still have the same work, da, 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 right? But notice how you feel.
Hmm.
That's the point. Like, and I guide them and they're like, yeah, I feel it here in my body. And like suddenly this numb, ambitious, do woman experiencing some feelings that she hasn't experienced for a while. So
Forever. Yeah.
yeah, forever. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, wow. Yeah, that is interesting. I'm like, well, that's within you. But again, that's that titration, right?
Titration. Yeah. I
Um,
love that you
so
mentioned
yeah,
that. Yeah. Thank you for,
yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful.
So the eyes, again, like they help when you start slowing down and focusing specifically on things. They help you shift to that parasympathetic state, which is your vagus nerve. And now we also know that we have two parasympathetic states in the nervous system. I mean, it's a one state, but there are two branches. Um, so and basically like because I work with entrepreneurial women, and also what has helped me to like really heal my relationship with money is actually, yes, embody love, and then bring love and start looking at my money situation, and money is always an amplifier and reflector of my relationship with myself and to love.
Hmm.
And then when I did that, and I'm still doing that, it feels so, so empowering. And like you were talking about safety and security, and that's basically like what I work with. I work with love and money,
Hmm.
because it's actually two things of the same frequency. And love and money run on the same frequency, which is basically how safe you feel to be you.
Which comes back to
Be
authenticity. So I
to
love that.
express, yes, it's all coming back, because if you're not feeling safe to be authentically you, then love and money is only part of the same frequency. That's why when you're love, the money is just resource that's available to you everywhere, and you see that everywhere. That's why when like mostly people say like, I just want to make lots of money so I feel safe.
Yeah.
It's basically back to you. Well, it's a reflection back to you. What parts of yourself are you not accepting
That's
that you
right.
don't feel like you're authentic with them, right? What parts of yourself that feel um, not secure with yourself?
Hmm.
So that's the parts that we want to bring love to. And then we start working through money stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not even then, it's like really connected so much. So that's why I really love to work with love and money. And not many people really combine these two together.
Mm.
So that's why when my clients come, they like get two for the price of one, so to speak.
Nice. Yeah. And truly, I mean, it all
Yes,
starts the way we do one thing is the way that we do everything. So
exactly.
that spills into all of the areas of our life.
Exactly.
I have an alignment inquiry. It's called the alignment inquiry. It's really the wheel of life on my website, and it's a free resource. And it's really just to point us in the direction of what wants our attention the most. But it really, when you do the work, it spills into all of it.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
love that you marry, love and money. And I think a lot of people, because they have a lot of fear around finances, and especially now where our economy is going. And this is the difference between the people who, in the 2020 pause, some people really made the most of that opportunity to really
Mhm.
grow their business. And they saw so much potential in that space. And other people just shut down and they had to close their businesses, and that, they went in the opposite direction of that scarcity. So it really does depend how we choose to focus our energy and where we decide that we're going to resonate. So Jules, thank you so much. I can't believe it's already been almost an hour, but
Ah,
let's wrap it
I
here,
know.
and we can always have a follow up and definitely chat again. I'm so inspired and so excited for you and where you're going and all the beautiful work that you've created and the space that you hold for clients. How can they find you?
Yes, I did not answer that question. So
Thanks.
I'm on Instagram and it's called In Body, but it's in body, inside in body, love energy. So that's my Instagram account. And then I also have my website, which is Jewel Coaching. Jewelcoaching.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm actually working on preparing, I call it not mastery anymore, but I call it a study. So I'm preparing a group study for love and money experience, and hopefully I will be opening up some stuff for that sometime in the fall, maybe the winter, for Christmas time. So yes, I'd love to help ambitious, amazing women who are basically fueling their actions, all from masculine energy of striving, disciplining, perseverance, that kind of stuff. I've been there and I know how it is. But when you know the other way and also combine them and finish with potentiality, because I believe potentiality only is possible when you marry that mobilizing masculine energy of the nervous system with the energy that, yeah, is more feminine, and actually hold the space, the safe space to receive, to be patient, just like the law of harvesting. So planting the seed, like we need that masculine energy. But if the seed is planted in the I need love experience, it's not a fertile zone, right? Not fertile soil. So, but when we do the work, clearing up the weeds, and the weeds are helpful because, like, even in the harvesting process, weeds actually serve a good purpose. They create the soil experience. So, but then we clear them up. We have the fertile soil where the choice is there. You're in your solar plexus area. You plant the seed with that masculine energy. But then, with that state of regulation of the nervous system and more feminine energy, you hold the space with patience, faith, trust. And where do all of those energy live? Not here. They live here in the body. Because how do you know your trust? Because you feel it. How do you know you have faith? Because you just have that deeper knowing. Where's that deeper knowing? It's in your body. And then that's how we connect with all is love, which is all is potential, abundance, and possibility, because we also know through the law of harvesting, when we put one seed of apple, we don't just get one apple.
Mm-hmm.
We get the tree of many, many apples. And that's why I love to work with the laws of energy and spiritual laws, because when it's in the nature, it's just a reflection, it's within us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if I am holding that seed, and that's the important part. So I'm done. But that's the important part. So, like for ambitious women, because when I'm planting this seed, and if I am watering every day, guess
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen? It's not going to grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this is us calibrating with the trust, faith, and just enough water, just enough
Mm-hmm.
fertilization, just enough digging,
That's right.
just enough staring, right? But trusting,
That's
more
right.
trusting, more faith, more safety, more
Mm-hmm.
connection within and without. And then it just grows.
And that's
within.
abundance. That's where the
Yeah,
fruits start to bear on the trees,
yeah.
the in abundance. Because again, from that one seed, if we're able to cultivate the space and manipulate the energy in the right way, then we get growth. So, so beautiful.
Ah,
Thank you so much,
thank
Jules.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your love, your passion, your energy, your dedication to women who are ready to step into their wholeness and slow down from doing all the time, going, going, going. Really, we're able to slow down and get into our body and into our frequency, into that resonance of potentiality and
Yeah.
abundance. And it is so beautiful.
May I ask you for a favor just to
Of
complete
course.
this with one of my poems? It's a short one.
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. Please. That would be
Okay,
such
so
an
yeah,
honor.
thank you. If you want to relax and close your eyes, maybe put
Mm.
it on your heart, whatever you need to do, it's just a quick meditation and the channel of love frequency. I have a dream that love is real. That's the title.
Mm.
I have a dream that love is real. It's always closer than we may feel. What stands between the love that's real, our wounds, our hurts, a closed heart that is afraid to feel?
Mm.
Fear is real, so is love. Fear is normal, love is a choice. Can I love my fears, you may ask? Place your hands on your heart. What do you feel? Is your heart ready to open to heal through love that's strong enough to love your fears with its compassionate presence and transcend your wounds and hurts to liberate your soul? What's your heart telling you? It's okay if you don't hear the answer. It's a process. It's one conversation at a time, one moment of presence, another moment of connection that leads you on a path of love, the path of least resistance. Enjoy your path that opens you to love and life that you greatly desire and want to experience it. Love is your guide. Your heart is your portal to love that sets your rhythm for life and all that life has to offer. I have a dream that love is real. It's up to you. It's up to me to make it real.
Mm. Wow, Jules. Oh, thank you.
I'll take a full credit. This is divine was working through me. I've become the vessel and the channel of receiving. So receiving has been fun, really.
So beautiful. It is such a gift to receive you. It is such an honor to witness you and to celebrate you and to support you on
Mhm.
this journey, Jules. I am so, so happy, so proud of you as your friend, so inspired as a coach, and just so grateful that you came to share this beautiful gift. And yeah, if you would like to share more of your poems, we can definitely have a follow-up for those who really, it's such a beautiful energy and frequency. And my eyes just opened up to that and just that, you said it's a short poem that is so, so powerful. So thank you
Thank you.
for
Yes, I'd
sharing.
love to do that. So yeah, my book is coming up possibly on June 6th, so it might be June 13th. We're
Excellent.
still
Hey, lucky
having a
13.
thing
That's my
here.
number.
Yeah. I will definitely share the Amazon link with you. And yeah, I'd love to come and maybe we can do a little book study, so to speak, and just see how you receive it. And if anybody else wants to join and send us questions,
That would be
that would be
amazing.
amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being on my journey. You've been such a pivotal moment in my life. Always. I love you. I am so, so blessed to get to know you. And I know your audience and whoever you touch are just blessed with your energy because you're so pure.
Jules, thank you. I fully receive that. And I love you so, so much.
Love
So much joy on your journey.
you too.
And we'll
Yeah.
be we'll be together soon. This episode will
Yes.
launch the day that the book launches. So it'll show
Okay.
up on the
Awesome.
podcast that same day. So you tell me which
Awesome.
day, and that's when people
Okay.
can. All
Thank
right.
you.
I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Thank
Have a
you. Love
beautiful
you.
day. Take
You
care.
too. Bye.
Bye, love.